The two most recent champions of the USL Cup final, Louisville City FC and New York Red Bulls 2, have both had their share of the spoils in the Eastern Conference Finals in 2016 and 17. They made for a third time and create a trilogy of the Eastern Conference Championship. It's Louisville City and New York Red Bulls 2. Live from Louisville, Kentucky at Slugger Field. It's a spot in the USL Cup final. That's what's at stake. And it's Lou City FC and New York Red Bulls 2 for a third straight year in the Eastern Conference Championship. Pre-game brought to you, as always, by Four Roses Bourbon. Tyler Terrence, along with the former German pro Devin Kerr. Well, it all comes down to this east of the Mississippi, as the boys in purple and the Baby Bulls will square off yet again for a chance for Lou City to perhaps defend their throne, and for New York Red Bulls to get back to their winning ways of 2016. And as we take a look at the USL Cup bracket, Devin, as always, a number of upsets. However, we do have a favorite over in Orange County, the number 1 seed, squaring off against Phoenix tomorrow night. But when it all comes down to it in the end, 24 hours of conference final bliss ahead.
Chaos has reigned supreme in both the Eastern and Western Conference so far for the playoff race. The big news, FC Cincinnati, the number 1 seed overall, going down to Red Bull 2. John Wolyniak and his boys know how to get it going. How did they get here? It was a fantastic win on the road at Nippert. Early on, Moreno gets the goal. It's not the worst defending by Smith in the 12th minute. The problem is, as a defender, at some point in time, you have to make a move. He gave him an inch. He took a mile, propelling them into the Eastern Conference Final.
It was another rare road win for John Wolyniak's side, which didn't get their first away win until the last 4 weeks of the season. Meanwhile, for Louisville City FC, it wasn't exactly the start they were looking for, but John Hackworth is very pleased on how the team responded. Brian Omby scoring his first 2 goals of the season in the playoffs. Talk about the clutch gene.
Great to see Omby back, coming off that concussion protocol. Really took time to get him back into match fitness. He gets his brace. He pushes his squad into another Eastern Conference final. The champs are looking to repeat.
Lou City continue to defend their throne and defend it at home. New York Red Bulls 2 yet again take their talents to the road, and it's a third straight meeting between the men in purple and the baby blues. Louisville defending the throne, and it's New York Red Bulls 2 trying to take it from them.
We're here at Toyota Motor Manufacturing in Kentucky.
This is Toyota's largest manufacturing facility in the world.
Let's go take a look.
Come on.
Toyota has invested over $7.5 billion in this plant alone, producing over 11 million vehicles.
It's all part of Toyota's commitment to the beautiful state of Kentucky.
Helping to create jobs for over 25,000 people. You gotta love that.
Toyota Camry, built in the USA.
Toyota, let's go places.
Nothing says road trip like a Toyota Highlander. Let's go.
There is so much to see and do here in Kentucky.
And there's no better way to do it than in a new Toyota. They just keep making them better and better.
Toyota actually spends $1 million every hour of every day on R&D.
And the information they learn here is what makes Toyota Safety Sense so effective. Advanced safety as standard equipment. Gotta love that.
Toyota, driven here, loved here.
Toyota, let's go places.
I'm Dan Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. You deserve to feel safe when you go shopping at a mall, get your car from the lot, or go out to dinner with friends. Unfortunately, not all businesses take their customer safety seriously. Our firm has recovered compensation for clients who were injured or assaulted where the establishment didn't have proper security. Cutting costs is almost always the reason, but it's never an excuse. If you were hurt because of inadequate security, call us for a free case review. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
What does it mean to believe in something? To truly support and get behind it? To be committed and invested in making sure it succeeds and grows. At First Financial Bank, we go beyond banking, providing resources for dreams that matter and giving back to projects that make a difference. As our family grows, our commitment to serve the community grows with it. First Financial Bank, because together, we're better.
John and Corey here at Rallies and Checkers.
Welcome to the Festival of Bacon. Burger, a fries, a chicken sandwich, just $2 each. Bacon on bacon on bacon.
That's triple bacon.
Good job with math.
You ready to take a bite out of these?
Let's stop talking, let's do it.
Look at the bacon.
You ready for this?
Oh my God.
I'm happy.
A little bit of bacon strips and bits. This is the best day of my life. If this was a bacon festival, I'd ride every single ride here.
Well, it is a bacon festival. $2 for each of these items with bacon? I live here now. I pay rent here.
Rallies and checkers.
Fast foodies know the deal.
Almost set for kickoff, and to finally crown an Eastern Conference champ, GE Appliances welcomes you into tonight's broadcast. Again, Tyler Terrence along with the former German pro Devin Kerr as the two teams make their way out onto the field here at Slugger. 90 minutes and potentially more ahead as we take a look at the starting lineups, which are presented by UPSJobs.com. Devin, if it ain't broke, don't fix it for John Hackworth.
Hackworth puts it into a four-back system upon his acquisition. They've done a fantastic job going forward. Love the move by McCabe into the middle, Omi out on the left. And then who else? Number 9, Cameron Lancaster, the go-to guy up top, who has been an all-worldly scoring streak. He's been fantastic in every way, shape, and form. He gets it done from set pieces. You see the movement off the corner. The guy really has all the tools of the trade.
25 goals, setting a new USL single-season record in that department. He scored his 26th against Indy 11. Meanwhile, for New York Red Bulls 2, same exact lineup that they shelled out against FC Cincinnati. And when you take down the #1 seed and the reigning Shield winners, why change anything?
Didn't change anything from the battery movement as well. And the biggest thing for Red Bull has been the solidification on the defensive side of things. We know they can go out and score 3-4 goals. Look at the matchups versus Louisville during the season. But Tom Barlow up top, Jared Stroud, Marino, all of them remaining compact on the defensive side of things has let them explode going forward. Barlow, 8 of his 9 goals this season have been against playoff contenders. They always say big players play big in big games. Tom Barlow is proving all the critics correct.
University of Wisconsin product has been sensational when called upon. Who could forget his hat trick coming off the bench to equalize against the Charleston Battery? It'll be Louisville in their all-purples, New York Red Bulls 2 in their white, red, and whites as we are officially underway from Slugger Field. We will have one of our 2 participants of the USL Cup Final at the end of these 90 minutes or possibly more. Tyler Terrence along with Devin Kerr. Glad to have you with us from wherever you may be watching. Buckle up. This is going to be a terrific matchup. The 3rd straight time that these 2 sides are meeting in the Eastern Conference Final. Ramy Touchon, our head referee for this evening's fixture. New York Red Bulls 2 come into this matchup a 5 seed. Louisville City, the number 2. 66 points on this season, which normally would be good for first place most years, but FC Cincinnati, of course, were outstanding as Greg Ranjetsing making it known early that the penalty area is his. Trinidad and Tobago keeper hasn't posted the clean sheet numbers maybe that he would like, and Devin, really that's been probably the biggest storyline for Louisville in the 2018 season as a whole, with the exception of the coaching change, was maybe the lack of discipline on the defensive end from a consistent standpoint, but they have most certainly shored things up along the back line in the postseason as Illich able to sneak his way through, bottled up by a couple of different baby bulls, and it's thumped the other way.
Definitely some growing pains early on. Hackworth came in and put that 4-back system into play. You're used to seeing Paco on the left, and then Jimenez would be tucked out on the outside. Now Jimenez pitches in a bit more, still gives him the opportunity to get up and down the pitch on the left, Kyle Smith on the right. But their ability to basically dictate the terms of the game on a regular basis is why you've seen them be so prolific on both sides of the ball. Offensively, Lancaster, fantastic. But the 4-back system has been great for Louisville City so far in the Hackworth era.
Jared Stroud trying to turn the corner. Good matchup between Smith and Stroud. The New Jersey native getting the better of him, but the delivery out of play and a goal kick coming for Greg Ranjetsing. New York Red Bulls 2 had to go through Charleston and FC Cincinnati, both in South Carolina and Ohio, to get to this point, only to find themselves on the road yet again in one of the most hostile environments in the Eastern Conference. Last touch coming off Cutler. New York Red Bulls 2 will have to keep it in play. Here's Ndam. Jimenez up for the header. Del Piccolo able to get a touch for it. You can already see that New York Red Bulls 2 press and really doesn't just stop with New York Red Bulls 2, but of course their affiliation with Major League Soccer's New York Red Bulls. It goes all the way up and down the club. It's Cutler finding Moreno. Bothered by Jimenez. No foul called by Remy Touchant and collected by Greg Ranjetsing. And tonight's game is brought to you by UPSJobs.com. Cutler winning the header. Lima sends it forward. Barlow giving chase. Sawahi able to get there first. Here's Kyle Smith, Cincinnati, Ohio native. Barlow's first touch was a heavy one, and Dom up for the header. Such a beast along the back line for John Wolyniec, and he did an excellent job, along with Ethan Cutler, Kevin Paulitz, and the New York Red Bulls 2 defense in stymieing FC Cincinnati in the conference semifinals as Cutler gets a touch to it. Last touch off of Brian Ownby. Ownby the hero in these semifinals with 2 goals and his first 2 goals of the season as Jared Stroud was trying to thread the needle. Akinaga stepping forward. Moreno bodied off by Jimenez. And Devin Kerr gives the defensive thumbs up of approval.
So difficult for a defender when you're put into those positions to really lay chase and then challenge the defender right at the outside of the box, and then it moves in to throw your body in and get in front of the attacker. Great positioning.
Lancaster with his first touch of the evening, switching the point of attack and finding Kyle Smith. Out wide for Davis the fourth, first time delivery. Lancaster's header, a glancing one. It'll fall for Ownby, back in, but the delivery was scuffed. And Stroud comes away with it. That was a good early half chance for Louisville. Lancaster was off, couldn't play it. And Dom, good distribution out of the back. Moreno looking to find Barlow, who's quite pacey for his size, and the offside flag is up. And tonight's keys to the game are powered by Kentucky Lottery, who reminds you that lottery proceeds fund college scholarship and grant programs, including every dollar of the popular Keys Scholarship Program. Devin, in our conversation with both coaches, they could not talk enough about transition, but for Louisville, perhaps a bit of composure might serve them well as well.
Had to go with the transition because that was the reverberating message from both Hackworth and Wolyniec, and who can go in the other direction the quickest. And if you take a look across both the East and Western Conference, Tyler, you and I were chatting about it. That's kind of what you see out of all the squads that are remaining. For Louisville, it's real easy to let the emotions get the best of you in situations like this. Red Bull will continuously press you high. They're going to put a lot on your patience meter, and whether or not you can withstand it, all they need to do is make sure they carry that composure and try and move out of the back the way that we've seen them do all season long.
Jared Stroud hit the deck, and Paolo Del Piccolo already in the ear of Remy Touchant, making sure that he's aware of what he believes to be simulation, and that was really a topic of conversation for Alan Koch in his post-game interviews after his loss in the conference semifinals to John Wolyniec's side in what was a very physical matchup. Good ball in from McCabe, but Lancaster couldn't play it yet again. Nice little 1-2 between Moreno and Aguinaga, but broken up by Del Piccolo. Illich sliding it through. Lancaster might be able to get there. Lancaster is in. Cameron Lancaster sends it wide. What a chance for the newly minted single-season goal record holder to get Louisville off to a dream start.
How does Cameron Lancaster not get the best of Evan Loro? The last touch is perfect, puts it right out in front of him, could go on the right or left. He gets it on that beautiful right boot that we've seen finish so many times before. He cannot believe it, slaps the ground in disgust, should have done better.
And Devin, that's the transition we're talking about. New York Red Bulls 2 give the ball up in the middle of the field. Louisville lightning quick to play that initial through ball with alleviates all of the pressure as Omby's called for the foul.
The transition play in general, but keep an eye. That chance came because if you look at the center backs for Red Bull, Paulitz and Ndam, they stand very high. The way that they press, they take a lot of chances trying to get numbers up the pitch. That is a look you're going to see on a regular basis that should open up for Louisville if they can take advantage of it.
Ndam. Here's Cutler. Loses it, but Aguinaga bails him out. And Jimenez gets rid of any further danger. Lancaster initially had Ndam beat for pace. Lancaster hits the deck. And he looks to be injured. We'll see if he's able to get up. Ndam sends it away. And it looks like Lancaster's grabbing onto his left hamstring. Devin, I mean, you talk about Lancaster not getting off to a great start with not finishing off that opportunity, but this becomes a completely different story. And they're already motioning for a sub. What a turn of events. The talisman who's carried Louisville offensively, from what the looks of it, is going to be subbed off in the 10th minute. And all Hackworth can do with his playoff beard is just shake his head in disgust. Such a fickle game.
I can't believe it, having a conversation with the fourth official. Felt like it should have been a foul. It was a good shoulder charge between Lancaster and Ndam. Saw him going toe-to-toe, and fortunately Ndam, just a bigger body, able to get him off the ball. And you immediately, I mean, that's the card you have to play here.
It's the only one you can play.
It's the only one you can play. I mean, you take a look down, and you would really have to start shifting things around. Ballard up top as a point man is not the move you could make. Maybe later on in the game, you might be able to move Ownby up top, or maybe even Illich. But at this point in time, you have to go with Luke Spencer. You saw him go to ground immediately, clutching that left hamstring. That is not a look, if you're a Louisville fan, that you would want to see at any point in time, yet alone 9 minutes into this Eastern Conference final. Once again, the high line by the two center backs.
Could the referee have called a foul for Ndam extending and sort of wrapping his hands around Lancaster at the top of the area?
Could he have? We've seen what's going on with the refereeing across the USL. It's difficult because he does grasp a bit, but Lancaster had overextended himself as well. You kind of reach out a bit, and then his leg pops into the grass, and that is most assuredly the hamstring injury. You saw him go right to it. Very tentative in his motions right now. And he's not one to shy away from a challenge. How many times have we seen him over his career not just get injured, but play through it? Earlier this season, separated shoulder, back with inside of 10 days. So if he's coming off, he's definitely not feeling it.
And whenever we ask Hackworth about Cameron Lancaster's prolific goal-scoring ability, his set-piece specialism, I mean, Hack always sort of deflects and loves to talk about how hard of a worker Lancaster is on the defensive side of the ball as well. And you can see even in a foot race like that, was not willing to back off Hassan Ndam, who probably has about 40 to 50 pounds on Lancaster. And obviously we don't want to speculate, but Devin, that type of hamstring injury, even if Louisville are to advance, the chances of him playing in a USL Cup final slim to none.
The biggest thing here that fans have to understand is, as broadcasters, we're put in a position you don't speculate. You don't say, it could be this, it could be that. From experience, when you see a player in that situation, though, that's not a pull. Usually, it could be a very bad pull, and that's what you're hoping for, but you really, really hope that it's not a tear, because that is much further off. I mean, walking, wincing in that amount of pain, not a good thing for Cameron Lancaster.
So it'll be Luke Spencer, part of the triumvirate a couple months ago, to lead this Louisville team, to be stepping on for Lancaster as Loro punches away the ensuing free kick. And a handball on New York Red Bulls 2. And Luke Spencer, we're getting word, did not have a jersey originally. Finally was able to get one, and now will come on. And the substitution brought to you by Great Clips. It's going to be great, but it's anything but great for Louisville in the opening 13 minutes. Lauro again.
Keep an eye on Luke Spencer now, because you've already seen the injury to Lancaster. Now Spencer steps in, and though he went through all the warm-ups pregame, he has then sat down, body started to cool off, and is immediately being thrust into the spotlight here. Wants to make sure that he gets his body acclimated to this environment before he starts going 100 miles an hour.
Luke Spencer missed a large chunk of the middle of the season due to injury. And while it was a triumvirate coaching, Spencer, during that time in between James O'Connor and John Hackworth, was predominantly the coach who was up, who was, of course, wearing the watch, keeping track of the time, making the substitutions. But let's not forget, he was the leading goal scorer a year ago and was a huge part of why they were able to capture the USL Cup in 2017. And maybe this is the way the narrative was supposed to be written, with Lancaster going down, getting them to this point, and then Luke Spencer, who's really been overshadowed and battled with injury, maybe turns out to be the hero. Obviously, we'll have to wait and find out, but that's also been a huge part of Louisville's success. Not a big roster numbers-wise, but in terms of the quality, very deep.
He was the go-to guy last year. All season long, Lancaster dealing with injuries in and out, and really until Lancaster netted the goal in the final, it was all Luke Spencer. And since then, he's had to take a back seat to the fine form of the Englishman. Hackworth has told us quite a few times that kind of feels bad for him over the course of the season, because even when he comes on, he is in good form. Outside of the injury, just hasn't been able to get the opportunity because Lancaster's been so brilliant.
Here's Cutler, drives it towards the back post. There's a foul and a penalty. Jared Stroud taken down, and it goes from bad to worse for Louisville. Meanwhile, for New York Red Bulls 2, hold on a second. New York Red Bulls 2 went straight over to Remy Touchon.
Del Piccolo lobbying with the referee. You're going to get another look. Ethan Cutler, makeshift outside back. That's a close one. That's very difficult because you've got Davis tracking back. He definitely clips the foot. Not with malicious intent, but you still take the attacker down. Referee has to point to the spot. Momentum starting to head towards Red Bull.
Chris Lima on top of it. 22-year-old New Jersey native. Lima slips and he scuffed it. Welcome to the USL Eastern Conference Championship game.
How many times have we talked about the struggles by visiting squads and how the pitch has affected them? Chris Lima, center midfielder, does such a great job holding things up. Gets held up by the pitch. His plant foot comes out from underneath him. He clips the ball right into the turf, up over the bar. Slugger Field absolutely ecstatic that it's still 0-0.
And how many Lou City fans, after celebrating, turn to their friends and go, ball don't lie? Moreno, it was one of those in-betweeners. Ranjetsingh can see it over the bar, and well, it's been 17 minutes. We've probably only had about 8 or 9 minutes of actual play time of that, Devin. Not exactly smooth, yet there's been all the drama you could possibly hope for.
You take a look at the penalty. It is really difficult for the referee to point to the spot. But you almost have to. You got to look at it again in slow motion. Davis is not trying to challenge whatsoever. They're both coming back, but you still, whether accidental or not, you still took the player down who would have been on the end of that ball.
And it's good to see the referee make the call, because how many times will we see in this type of situation, in a big matchup with the USL Cup final at stake, a referee hold back because it's early in the game, because you don't want to give that early penalty. A penalty in the 13th minute, in the 50th minute, or in the 90th is a penalty. Here's Illich. And Dom, No foul. Louisville wanted retribution, not going to get it. George Davis IV through the defender and fouled. I'll tell you what, George Davis IV, he might as well be deemed the nutmeg king of Louisville. How many times have we seen him do that this season?
This season, did with Richmond. I mean, he's fantastic.
The past 10 years.
Technical skill that's unrivaled at certain points in time. Referee needs to be careful right now, though. It's been back and forth. The ebb and flow needs to start to calm things on the emotional level. He's done a good job controlling it, but you don't want it to get out of hand.
Delivery's low, so while he was trying to help it along, Tenari. Good work to find Stroud. This is what New York Red Bulls 2 are all about. Quickly alleviating the pressure and going in the opposite direction with a ton of pace. Louisville did well to get behind the ball. Here's Stroud. Around Kyle Smith. Jared Stroud. Delivery was blocked by McCabe. Here's Tenari. Takes a deflection and a corner kick coming up for the visitors. 0-0 in the 20th minute. Chris Lima has missed a penalty. Cameron Lancaster missed a 1v1 breakaway and also was subbed off with a hamstring injury. But other than that, you haven't missed anything if you're just tuning in. Ranjitsingh spills it again and finally able to claim it. It's a rare miscue from the Trinidad and Tobago keeper.
Was about to jump out initially and say, what a good job showing his commanding presence in the box. He's got that high stature in general, standing, they list him as 6'2", but he's every bit of that and more. And comes out and gets it, but uncharacteristically, as you mentioned, dropped it right in the middle of the 6.
Davis IV. Here's McCabe. Mr. Reliable into the area all the way through, but Ombi didn't follow it up. Last touch coming off of New York Red Bulls 2 and a corner for Louisville now.
How many times have we seen Brian Onby get on the end of something like this? Just makeshift to the back post, continues to run. He hesitates, stops. And to be honest, if he hadn't, might have been in an offside position coming off the deflection. But still, Onby does a good job putting himself in the right spots at the right time, looking for the third on the year.
They go short. Penalty. Now Louisville awarded a chance from 12 yards away, and it's Tenari who's the culprit. Devin warranted.
This is another close one. They're not making our jobs easy, are they? Wolinak not happy. John Hackworth frustrated at the first one. And their manager not necessarily agreeing with what his midfielder put himself into. Andrew Tenari had drifted right to the outside of the 18 on this quick corner by Jimenez. When he plays it in, that is soft. Very, very soft. Two guys doing battle. Arm comes over the top, but he doesn't bring him down. It's just two guys getting caught up a bit. This is not a penalty. We gave the referee all the credit in the opening 20 minutes.
And Dom went over for a little bit of gamesmanship and gets shown a yellow card. And that's just silly in a conference final for unsportsmanlike conduct when the play wasn't even happening. Cutler trying to calm him down.
Keep an eye on Illich with his penalties. He gets crafty, goes back and forth. He's gone both ways over the course of his career. Does not necessarily favor one side. Makes it that much more difficult for Evan Loro. They'll go into these taping sessions. He will have done his homework. But at the end of the day, right now, this is going to be a mental guessing game.
Illich, 12 goals in the regular season, including one against Indy 11. Ilya Illich buries it. Louisville lead 1-0 in the Eastern Conference Championship match.
We said it was going to be a guessing game, turned into mental warfare. Illich with a bit of a stutter right at the top, quick feet. Evan Lauro could not get it correct, but he does a good job coming back across his body. That's where one of those things at home, folks, you don't necessarily see. Illich kept his hips wide open, pushing Lauro to his left, closes them just at the end, bringing it across his body, and the home squad gets out in front.
Goal presented by Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education, Kentucky Lottery. So New York Red Bulls 2 give up their first goal of the postseason. And what Devin Kerr and I'm sure a lot of New York Red Bulls 2 fans believe to be a phantom call of sorts from Remy Touchon. So as it stands, USL Cup final will run through Slugger Field. Ndam. And this is where the games with New York Red Bulls 2 can get really interesting, Devin, because when they score first, then they're asking the opposition to do things they're not used to doing, and that's where New York Red Bulls 2 can really make you pay. But if they concede first, well, hold that for a moment as George Davis, the fourth delivery, almost sneaks through. Luke Spencer was looking for it. Last touch of Ndam, and it'll be a goal kick.
Wow. Always nice when a refereeing crew does not have an impact on the game. Opening 20 minutes, absolutely fantastic. But since the penalty, and now what should have been an easy corner decision,
Omby, oh, he's looking for George Davis, the 4 seconds. McCabe, here is Davis, cutting through. Davis shot blocked. It was Paulitz with a terrific defensive play. Suahi takes a mean deflection, and Dom had to get rid of it, but didn't need to because the offside flag was up.
George Davis talked about composure. How nice is this? Just waiting, biding his time. Would like to hear a call from McCabe in a situation sitting right at the top of the 18. Could have easily dropped that back, but we know the technical capability that George Davis IV has no problem whatsoever taking someone one-on-one.
Good to see Cameron Lancaster up and on his feet, but the bad news is that he's walking ever so gingerly. Luke Spencer coming on for him. It's a little bit past the 10-minute mark. Sent the other way. Spencer giving chase, but it's too close to Lauro. Tenari bending it into space. What a ball for Jared Stroud. Working on Kyle Smith again. Stroud's delivery. Not his best, but certainly asking questions of the Louisville defense. Excellent back heel from Tenari. Aguinaga's shot was blocked. Can Louisville counter? Omby. So shifty in his movements and was able to win the free kick. John Hackworth describing Omby as somebody who just flat out allows Louisville to play different. Devin, what exactly does that mean for the veteran?
It gives you a different look. So Niall McCabe had basically turned into their left winger. Very versatile player who can give you a lot of different looks. Definitely does not possess the speed, first and foremost, that Brian Ownby does. The guy can flat out run. Put a ball out in space, ball at feet. We've seen him do it so many times. Exactly how he was successful last week. But the technical ability and the vision that Ownby possesses. The vision is a big thing, and it's not with the ball at his feet. It's the movement by Louisville across the course of their playing movements. So when the ball's shifting across, he can read that step 2-3 moves ahead of time. That's why he always puts himself in an appropriate position. Enter then, on the back end of that argument, McCabe moving into the middle. Asked Hackworth about that and said, you know, has he been the biggest surprise? He said, it's not because he's so versatile. It's because didn't realize he was going to be that great as the number 8. Thought he would do kind of a makeshift job underneath Illich, holding in that 10 spot, but he's been absolutely fantastic. And the combination of those two players, the difference in the look that it's given Louisville over the remaining part of this season has really propelled them to new heights.
Pressure from Tom Barlow. And Jetsing able to find Kyle Smith. Saucy skill to elude the defender. I can't link up the pass. Moreno shielded off by Del Piccolo. Tenari wins it. Jimenez's pass is picked off. Paulett stepping forward. Tenari, the skipper, skips his way out of trouble. Back and forth we go in Louisville territory. Finally cleared away, and Dom on a yellow card, keep in mind. Paulitz. Ownby. Working on multiple Baby Bull defenders. Brian Ownby trying to get the better of Cutler. He is dropped by Chris Lima, but no call. Stroud. Here's Barlow. Game winner against Charleston, the Missouri native. Dumped in. Deflected header handled by Ranjitsingh. And it's been encouraging from the visitors after giving up the opening goal to Illich from the penalty spot.
So far, Tom Barlow and Jared Stroud are having, not necessarily a field day, but they're having some fun on that right-hand side when they're on the left, but the right for Louisville City FC. Kyle Smith and Lexi Swahi going to be very busy over the course of this evening. Red Bull definitely trying to push things over onto that left. And the biggest thing for Red Bull, when you watch the ball movement, they'll have a couple touches in the back right now, but when they decide to go, it's surgeon-like precision. It's 1, 1, 2, 2. Quick passes in and out of the channels to help get them across the field. They may go back and forth, left and right a few times, but when they go down the field, it's quite rapid.
Here's Spencer! It's 2 for Louisville! And it's the substitute, the unexpected sub, Luke Spencer, who doubles Louisville's delight in the Eastern Conference Final.
Tyler brought it up about 5 minutes ago and said that when this Red Bull squad goes down, they start to chase. You see a much more open game. They have stretched themselves too thin. And to be honest, the backside of this defense just falls asleep. Jimenez drifting back into the picture, nowhere to be found. You see Kevin Paulitz trying to lay chase to Luke Spencer. Spencer, talk about reading the game well from Brian Ownby. Spencer, so smart, just drifting to the back post. The ball is put on a platter. All he has to do is wait for it and just tuck it to bed.
Goal presented by Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education, Kentucky Lottery. And Dom taken down, and after what looked like a totally bleak start for the boys in purple, Louisville now have a 2-0 lead after Lancaster goes down with an injury, misses a 1v1, and Louisville concede a penalty. Chris Lima, of course, slipping on that ensuing pen. Louisville awarded a penalty of their own. Illich buries it, and now Spencer, the most recent development in the scoring summary. Five goals in the regular season as Moreno unable to get there because Ranjetsingh was quick off of his line. We'll have a stoppage from Remy Touchon. Ranjetsingh is claiming that Moreno caught part of his face.
We referenced the emotions that have come into this game. Highly touted in general, yet alone all the variables that have come to play early on. Penalties, the injury to record goal scorer Cameron Lancaster. Now Ranjetsingh having a word. Referee needs to calm things down, get it settled. Tension running high, coming out, and he feels like there's a bit of a nick there. You immediately see Moreno saying, didn't mean to, was just trying to jump out of the way. The tell of the tape is a bit different, to be honest.
So as it stands, Louisville, Eastern Conference champs for a second year, has another free kick won by the home side. And the final, regardless of the winner due to Orange County forfeiting their hosting rights, would go through Lynn Stadium. We did make a mistake earlier. It's not Slugger Field. The USL came out with a statement a few days ago saying that if Louisville are to be in the final and are to host, which is the case at this point in time, that it'll be at University of Louisville, where the Cardinals play their home matches in what's really a terrific environment where Louisville have had a lot of success, specifically in the U.S. Open Cup. I mean, that comeback they had against New England Revolution, and Brian Omi's outstanding goal was at Lynn Stadium. And it's an unbelievable environment, obviously a bit smaller than Slugger, but an intimate environment. And Devin, we watched that game together. I mean, it was loud at Lynn, and obviously there's a long way to go, as Evan Loro uncomfortable with that. But if it is to be at Lynn, not ideal for John Hackworth's side, but still not a bad secondary option.
To be honest, it may serve them better, and here's why. Two reasons. You talk about an intimate setting. The Coopers will blow the roof off that place. Metaphorical roof, because it's not covered. But you and I had the opportunity earlier this year to walk by it, and I had seen it a couple years ago as well. It's a fantastic venue, but the playing surface is in pristine condition. That will serve Louisville very well. No disrespect to Slugger Field, but it is a makeshift field. We've seen the slip earlier on in this game on the penalty by Red Bull, and it gives them an opportunity to play a bit more, which a lot of coaches will tell you, since Hackworth has stepped in, that's probably the biggest stylistic difference. You see the boys in purple touch and go a bit more than normal.
Jimenez, excellent delivery. It's loose in front. Who touched it last? Remy Touchon says it was New York Rebels 2, and a corner kick coming up for the home side, who lead 2-0.
There's Oscar Jimenez. Another season of just massive stats from a supporting cast role. Does such a good job from set pieces. Can swing him in with the best of them.
Swing him in with either foot as well. He's predominantly right-footed. As Louisville again were claiming that they should have earned another corner, but a goal kick coming. Remember, Western Conference final tomorrow night, 10 o'clock Eastern. Orange County and Phoenix, the number 1 and 3 seeds, to square off for the 4th time this year. Jared Stroud ripped down by Kyle Smith, and Stroud has gotten the better of Smith in these opening 37.5 minutes and wins a dangerous free kick here in Louisville territory.
Great opportunity for the visiting squad just before halftime to maybe pull back some of that momentum that was definitely in their favor right up until that penalty that went over the top of the bar. And this is what you look for as a player. You're down, you're on the road, 2-0. A set-piece opportunity to propel you back into this match. Excellent opportunity for John Wolinak's squad.
Outswinger, won by Illich. Moreno able to keep it in play. Working on Omby. Tenari dinks it over. Moreno, not a bad effort at all. Ranjitsingh holds on to it. 12th minute game winner against FC Cincinnati, Armando Moreno.
He's not necessarily known for his left foot, but Tenari serves a good ball in, brings it off his chest very well. Just can't get enough power behind it. Ranjitsingh definitely had the near post covered. Try and pick out the far next time.
And that should be a card against Ilya Illich, and it will be. Got tangled up with Hassan and Dom away from the ball. And Devin, as I'm sure you have experience with this, sometimes it's not the first, but rather the retaliation that's caught by the referee.
You always get caught. How'd you know? You always get caught. It's the second look for sure, and even when that battle goes on, just Illich coming back around, letting his emotion get the best of him. There's the first one. The second one just drags him down from behind. Bit of theatrics from Ndam, to be honest, but when you're right in front of the referee trying to make the most of it, does a good job. Almost baits him into the challenge.
27-year-old Serbian who attended Young Harris Division II from 2011 to 2014, joined that elusive double-double club, double digits in goals and assists. Joining the likes of Manu Ledesma and Aiden Quinn in the 2018 season. And before that, it was Irvin Parra a year ago as Luke Spencer called for the foul. Whole lot of gamesmanship going on both sides. Cutler. It's an encouraging ball. Aginaga finding Tenari. Moreno, Cutler in for Aginaga, all sorts of time and space. Delivery is cut out though, it's Ilya Illich. McCabe, over 100 appearances for Lou City, including a brace in the quarterfinals against Indy 11. Look at Paco Craig, who, as always, anchoring the back line for Lou City. Stroud. Turnover from Lou City. Barlow. And Ranjitsingh clears it away, wanted to be safe, didn't pick it up. Big collision between Davis the fourth. And it looked like Jimenez. Jimenez popping back up. Lou City having a tough time of hanging on to the ball. Couple of consecutive turnovers. Lima. His pass is picked off. Lou City again struggle with it. Here's Stroud! And he scuffs it. And look at Ranjitsingh sprinting off of his line, communicating with his midfield. Stroud's claiming the shot took a deflection.
This all stems from the high press. All 10 of the field players for Red Bull 2 are inside of the half, and it does take a deflection. Comes right off the side. Referee has got to get this in check. But that all comes from that high press that Red Bull is playing. Jared Stroud on the left-hand side. Both wingers you've seen, Stroud and Moreno, drifting in, allowing Barlow to really frustrate the back line. Jimenez playing very high. Even Paulitz was about 45 yards from goal when that progression of play started.
Barlow working on Paco Craig. And Craig stops on a dime. Linking up going forward as well. McCabe, a nice little pirouette, but gets caught. Del Piccolo picks him up. Here's Niall McCabe. Foul called against Tenari and a yellow card as well. The two skippers and Remy Touchon with a meeting at the Knights of the Round Table. Tenari and Del Piccolo can't imagine are exchanging email addresses.
And just making sure his MySpace account's still active.
You still on MySpace?
No,
no,
I was never on it.
Not as Devin Kerr, maybe as somebody.
Yeah, my alias. There's some late challenges floating around right now. I felt like Jimenez was actually unfortunate when Davis got stuck in a minute ago. This one late by Tenari, coming in on Del Piccolo. And he's unhappy with Tenari. Tenari trying to lobby the other direction, but he's definitely in the wrong.
We're hearing 4 minutes of stoppage time. Here's Jimenez. Barlow gets a foot to it. And stoppage time brought to you by Sullivan University. Luke Spencer with a goal on the night. Only had 5 during the regular season, but we talked about his trials and tribulations of 2018, battling with injuries. As Illich with a clever turn ends up winning the foul. Tenari can't believe it. Chris Lima's in the same boat, and another set piece to defend for the Baby Bulls.
Saw the golf clap by Niall McCabe. He liked the skill by his compatriot in the middle of the park. 1, 2, 3 little step overs. How about a little Cruyff right in between the legs? Come on, boys, let's have some fun.
Now McCabe was certainly loving it. Jimenez. First time effort takes a deflection. Loro able to handle it cleanly. And John Wolenek is furious that the offside flag didn't go up. There is the Staten Island, New York native. Had an outstanding playing career with stops with the Metro Stars, New York Red Bulls. Actually won the USL A-League way back when with the Rochester Raging Rhinos in 2001, and then with the Milwaukee Rampage in 2002. And of course, as a manager with New York Red Bulls 2 in 2016, taking down Lou City in penalties in the Eastern Conference Finals. Lancaster actually missed one of those pens. Stroud. Moreno bringing it down. He's going to hit it. Talk about what one goal in front of over 15,000 in Nipper will do for the confidence. Moreno has not shied away from any opportunity presented to him tonight.
The type of goal as well. This is highlight reel worthy if it hits the back of the net. Tries to pull the trigger right outside the 18. He has shown some flashes in this first half that he is more than capable of taking on this challenge. Marino, fantastic over the course of the season, and he's another one who's stepped up in some big games, providing some lethal goals, not just against FC Cincinnati, but some of the other big boys in the Eastern Conference. We're going to continue on here. Some work to do, though.
And Moreno's one of those guys who's just been with New York Red Bulls virtually since the beginning. Started with him back in 2009 at the academy as Jared Stroud slips it through. Here's Jimenez. His first touch lets him down. Jimenez, wow, that's clever. Stroud goes to ground, gets it right. Cleared only as far as Tenari. Andrew Tenari, blocked by his counterpart and fellow captain Paolo Del Piccolo. And Dom. Cool first touch. Here's Aguinaga. Still with it. Aguinaga.
Aguinaga wanted to bring this back across his body, but he couldn't do so. The back line of Lou City FC had a gap, but they closed it down immediately. Great defending by Paco Craig. Just continuing to let the attacker come across the box, that's fine. It is very difficult to close your hips and get it back across. Craig didn't give him the opportunity to do so.
And that's going to do it for what was a wild first 45 minutes here at Slugger Field. The Lou City faithful rise as one, knowing that they're 45 minutes away and have a 2-goal lead from another USL Cup final appearance. A penalty from Ilya Illich, a missed pen from Chris Lima, as well as a finish from a substitute, Luke Spencer, who came off for injured Cameron Lancaster. Devin, what do we make of it all in the first half?
You just hit it all right on the head, given all the circumstances that have gone on. If you're John Hackworth, the PKs, the injury, you're up 2-0 at half, he'll take it. But keep an eye, Red Bull 2, over the course of this season, 26 of their 36 games coming into this match have had 3 or more goals. This game is not over.
The third time that these two teams are meeting in the 2018 campaign, and it concludes in the Eastern Conference Final. What else is new? It's Lou City with a 2-0 lead heading into the halftime break. We're 45 minutes to having one member of the USL Cup Final.
Graduating debt-free is the best feeling through the Metro College program. You would be a package handler, you would work nights, and you get your weekly paycheck, 100% paid tuition, and bonuses for JCTC and U of L. Less than a year after I graduated, I bought a house on my own because of all the benefits that I received and the freedom that I had from graduating debt-free. I want to help any student get that same opportunity.
We're here at Toyota Motor Manufacturing in Kentucky.
This is Toyota's largest manufacturing facility in the world.
Let's go take a look. Come on. Toyota has invested over $7.5 billion in this plant alone, producing over 11 million vehicles.
It's all part of Toyota's commitment to the beautiful state of Kentucky.
Helping to create jobs for over 25,000 people. You gotta love that.
Toyota Camry, built in the USA.
Toyota, let's go places.
In a soccer match, a throw-in is awarded when the ball goes out of bounds. The team that touched the ball last will defend against the throw-in.
This Louisville City FC Soccer Spotlight presented by your Kentucky Drive Chevy dealer.
If you slip and fall at a place of business, your injury may be their responsibility. Some of the worst injuries can come from easily preventable conditions: wet floors, broken steps, faulty railings, cracked sidewalks. You may be entitled to recover money damages as a result of your slip and fall, but we need to work quickly to preserve evidence. If you or a loved one were injured in a fall, call us at Pound Law on your cell phone. That's pound 529, Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
I'm a weather nerd. The weather keeps me on my toes. I grew up in Kentucky. This is where I'm born and raised. I would sit and watch the meteorologist on TV nonstop going through grade school. It's like, yep, that's what I'm gonna do. When you get up, the first thing most people wanna know is what's gonna happen this day. To give that information, I mean, it makes you feel like you have a really important job. I love going to work every single morning.
Jude Redfield, your Emmy winner for Best Meteorologist.
USL champions in 2017, Lou City FC drives for excellence. Just like your Kentucky Drive Chevy dealer, Chevy is the only brand to earn J.D. Power Dependability Awards for cars, trucks, and SUVs, now 3 years in a row.
Halftime here at Slugger Field, and presented by Kentuckiana Toyota Dealers. The Coopers certainly enjoyed the first 45 minutes. New York Red Bulls 2, on the other hand, have some work to do, down 2 goals. And Devin, we'll take a look at the playoff bracket of this 2018 USL Cup postseason. Remember, it all culminates with the USL Cup final November 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN2. Mike Watts, Devin Kerr will be on the call. And Devin, I mean, obviously the Eastern Conference, we would honor that. How about the Western Conference? Orange County, Phoenix, later tomorrow night. I mean, should be an electric game, 2 very offensive teams.
It started with an uninspiring performance in the West by Sacramento Republic. The 2 seed wasn't happy with them. Like the rebound by Phoenix in the game that just a week before they went down 1-0 at Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex from T2. They've done a good job gaining some momentum in this Western Conference in the postseason. Orange County came out right out of the gate. Now, it was against a red-carded 10-man team of Anthony Pulis and St. Louis. Get a staple 4-0 victory. Then Reno. Not necessarily the best that we saw out of Orange County, but Braden Cloutier said it to us earlier today best. It wasn't the way we wanted to play, it was the way we had to play.
And now for score from around the league with our Commonwealth Credit Union Roundup. This is from the conference semifinals. Phoenix Rising. Well, that was an exciting one, Dev. You and I were on the call for that one. 4-2 is the final score. We had 4 goals in the first half, split right down the middle in a matter of 16 minutes. Already talked about New York Red Bulls 2, Armando Moreno. Goal in 12th minute, Lou City and Bethlehem. Brian Omby with both goals, and then Orange County getting by Reno. And Braden Cloutier told us earlier today, Devin, and he said it wasn't the style of football that he necessarily would have wanted to play, but it was one that they needed to play in order to get the win.
Yeah, and you'll see that from squads, but the mark of a good manager is recognizing what their strengths and weaknesses are. There are other teams around the league that won't do that. They'll toe the line and say, we're going to try to impose our will in this manner. Orange County's smart. They took their medicine, got the goal from Aiden Quinn, and then just sat back. The Bethlehem Steel Louisville game was interesting. Thought Bethlehem did a good job early on, but they weren't able to maintain that high press and intensity like you see from the Red Bull 2 squad this evening. Ended up falling 2-0. Great job by Brian Omby.
Well, we already talked about it once during this break, Devin. Phoenix and Orange County. This is March 17th. Seems like eons ago. Billy Forbes finding Solomon Asante. Phoenix were off and running in the first 20 minutes or so in this one in Irvine, and then it would finish a 1-1 draw. Alex Cronali would have the equalizer late in that one in stoppage time. These two teams saw each other 3 times during the regular season, and really, Dev, I mean, both coaches told us that this game is almost a one-off because there was a coaching change for Phoenix. Patrice Carteron moving out with Al Ali. Rick Sean stepping in for a second time as the interim. So they really weren't too concerned about this matchup, but this is the one draw of the season. They had 3 draws in 2017. Then this would be the early goal in the second meeting. Cody Wakasa would end up getting a red card, and Phoenix would hold on for what was their first real marquee win of the season against Orange County.
It's interesting because you really can't take anything away from the 3 games. The body of work, 3 totally different matches. The first one you alluded to, the 1-1. The second one with Phoenix, 10-man squad. Rick Sean said throw that out the window. And then this was just one of the most bizarre games you would see over the course of the season. Orange County got out early. They got out often. 4 goals. Thought this game had been put to bed. Then you saw the brilliance that is Solomon Asante. Single-handedly put his Phoenix Rising boys on his back, able to get back into this, gets a late hat trick, 3 goals, ends up being a 4-3 match. Rick Shantz told us that. What they're going to look at is the past 4 games. Both managers understand that the team they saw earlier on this season is not what you see in front of them now. So how do you break down each individual player and matchup? Only time will tell.
Braden Cloutier was funny talking to us earlier today. He said it was one of the most bizarre and emotional roller coasters of his coaching career. And he said he couldn't believe that they were at Phoenix up 4-0, and he was ready to celebrate, go back on the bus and party, and then you know, by the 75th, 80th minute, he was just looking to his assistant coaches and saying, referee, blow the whistle, let's get out of here.
Get an EKG, check his heart rate monitor. That must have been a difficult one for him to swallow coming down the stretch, able to get the victory. You look at the Western Conference, Orange County has been the most consistent squad. Phoenix, probably the most talent on the field, but can they get it all going in the right direction at one point in time? That's the biggest question of the night when they face tomorrow.
Again, it's going to be tomorrow, 10 o'clock Eastern time. A look at the two teams over the regular season. We mentioned series season tied at 1-1-1. It would be the first USL Cup appearance for both sides. Phoenix in their first postseason appearance in general, their first two postseason wins in club history. Orange County had some success back in their other days, and then of course rebranded as Orange County SC. Devin, early prediction.
Well, I'll tell you this, I'm not predicting this game.
We're
on the call for it, and it's difficult to do, but I'll tell you a matchup to keep an eye on. Rick Shantz, loanee earlier this year, Tristan Blackman from LAFC, left center back, getting acclimated in that position, had been away. Brings him back in, replaces Mike DeFont, puts him in that center back position alongside Amadou Dia. Interesting change, worked out well for them. Is that something Orange County is going to try and attack?
Well, we still have the Eastern Conference champion to crown as we are moving through the Toyota halftime show at Slugger Field. And a look at the news and notes from around the United Soccer League. Of course, we mentioned it before. USL Cup Final, ESPN2, Thursday, November 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern. You're not going to want to go anywhere. I know I'll be watching. Mike Watson, Devin Kerr will be on the call. Austin Bold break ground on their stadium that's going to hold 5,000 plus as they'll be ready to play for 2019. And Dev, we always knew it was going to be 10 teams. The 10th and final team was up in the air until it wasn't early this afternoon. How about FC Dallas? They're going to have their own team in League One. Just another terrific step for North American soccer. And FC Dallas taking advantage of the opportunity at hand.
There were some rumblings for quite some time that it would be FC Dallas, but to see it come to fruition, very exciting. I'll tell you what I would love. I want Austin Bold FC to do a time-lapse photography of this entire project. That'd be a great thing to do from a PR perspective and just show the growth of this game across the country. Always nice to see something built from the ground up.
Well, we talked about League One, and of course we're going to talk about the rebrands. With the exception of the postseason, it's been the talk of the United Soccer League town, and just in simple terms, USL will now be known as the USL Championship. Division 3, which was always coming into play, is now going to be known as League One. And then, Devin, this is the one that draws all the attention from our standpoint, and a lot of people, is that the PDL acquired by the USL is now going to be known as USL League 2. 70% of MLS draftees at one point in time have played at that level, as well as a number of USL players. And it's just incredible to see all of this coming under the United Soccer League brand.
It's an astronomical number, and don't be surprised if that number rises over the next few years because academies will continue to pump out massive amounts of talent. Another fun one, League One, introduction to Richmond Kickers, Rochester Rhinos next year. Gonna be fun.
We're stepping aside, but when we come back, first half highlights and, of course, second half kickoff. Don't go anywhere.
We're here at Toyota Motor Manufacturing in Kentucky.
This is Toyota's largest manufacturing facility in the world.
Let's go take a look.
Come on.
Toyota has invested over $7.5 billion in this plant alone, producing over 11 million vehicles.
It's all part of Toyota's commitment to the beautiful state of Kentucky.
Helping to create jobs for over 25,000 people. You gotta love that.
Toyota Camry, built in the USA.
Toyota, let's go places.
Nothing says road trip like a Toyota Highlander. Let's go.
There is so much to see and do here in Kentucky.
And there's no better way to do it than in a new Toyota. They just keep making them better and better.
Toyota actually spends $1 million every hour of every day on R&D.
And the information they learn here is what makes Toyota Safety Sense so effective. Advanced safety as standard equipment. Gotta love that.
Toyota, driven here, loved here.
Toyota, let's go places.
Showtime, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go, let's go.
When a defining moment comes along, where will you be
Now the cat should say hello to the top.
as rising stars start their journey and players step into the light? Big stories come into focus, bringing you closer. That's WDRB Sports.
It's out with the old and in with the new during Watson's new fall arrival sale.
There's no better time than now to save store-wide on sofas, sectionals, home theater seating, and more. Anything you can dream of for your home is on sale now. Reclining leather sofas from $9.99. Power reclining sectional now only $12.99. Home theater groups from as little as $7.99.
Plus 24-month special financing during the new fall arrival sale only at Watson's.
Finishing up the Toyota halftime report brought to you by your Kentuckiana Toyota dealers. Lou City with a 2-0 lead and are cruising right along to the bridge that gaps the Eastern Conference Final and the USL Cup Final. Tyler Terrence along with Devin Kerr will take a look at how it all went down in the first 45 minutes. Opening 5 minutes, Devin, Cameron Lancaster had a great opportunity here and a rare miss from the Talisman.
One of the easiest looks that he's going to get all season long. Great step up by Illich in the middle of the park, plays an excellent through ball. Again, those center backs for Red Bull 2 playing very high, allowing Lancaster to get in behind. Expected him to finish there. That wasn't the case. Beyond frustrated.
He would be pulled off due to an injury. Luke Spencer would come on, and then this would happen a few moments later. Stroud taken down by George Davis IV, accidental but still warranted.
It has to be. Jared Stroud trying to crash the party on the back post. Davis takes him down, but the biggest thing here is, regardless if it's accidental or not, you still have to point to the spot. Christopher Lima steps up. They've got so many goal scorers. He's just not able to put it away. Pitch comes into play. And then the other side of things. This is where the refereeing started to drift another direction. Tenari gets involved. Illich steps up, says thank you very much. Home squad out in front.
14th goal regular season and postseason combined for Illich, as it's a massive one for Lou City to get them off and running in the conference final. Then this is an odd one. Brian Obi just sort of knocks it across. Loro and Paulitz are teased into strange positions, and Spencer, the substitute, making the most of it.
This is what happens when you play a high press and something gets turned over in the middle of the park. Ethan Cutler, Alan Giannis were very high with their positioning. Good counterattack by Louisville City, finding the back post for Spencer. Great finish.
Look at the possession statistic. That is rare for a game not only that New York Red Bulls 2 is playing in, but a game that they're losing, dominating 61-39. But again, it's that purposeful possession, and we saw a lot of that New York Red Bulls 2 pressure come to fruition at the end of the first half.
Red Bull has to be careful now because you have no more room for error. The margin is gone. 2-0 is still doable. You get to 3 against a great back line like this for Louisville, not going to happen.
Underway in the second half, 45 minutes ahead. If it stands, Lou City, Eastern Conference champ for the second year in a row, and headed back to the USL Cup Final. Illich and Spencer, the goal scorers for the boys in purple. Stroud a touch. Both of these teams have known nothing but an enormous amount of success since coming into fruition in 2015. Spencer's hit, cut out by Cutler. And Devin, since 2016, when Lou City did not get a win against New York Red Bulls 2, Louisville have gone 15 goals for, 9 against, and have not lost to John Wolinek's side. Yet they remain these bitter rivals in the postseason as Davis IV trying to keep it in play and not able to do so, and goes crashing into the advertisement stanchions and is still down. And tonight's game brought to you by UPSJobs.com.
The tides have definitely turned for Louisville and Red Bull 2 in this situation. First 5 meetings, chalk it up as a W for Wolinek's squad. But since that fateful night in 2016 in the PKs that we're coming to, they have not been able to get in the W column, and there have been some hard-fought matches. You take a look at the ones this year, the 6-4 back-and-back back and forth track meet that turned into the Cameron Lancaster show, and then the 3-3. And the 3-3 was a big one because Louisville really thought they had an opportunity to go out there and get a good victory. That wasn't the case. Red Bull, they just do not go quietly into the night. Expect the same this evening.
Here's VisionWorks what to look for as we're already into the second half of play. Devin, what do we got?
Yeah, don't panic for Red Bull 2. We've already alluded to that. They have no problem going toe-to-toe with the best of them, and definitely not an issue scoring goals. But for Lou City, you have to remain calm and just maintain the composure. Keep doing what you've done. At some point in time, you'll probably see a defensive move by Wolenyak. Hackworth.
Barlow. Easy work for Jetsing in the end.
We start going back and forth the managers, I start confusing myself. And that's the biggest thing here is at some point in time, you'll see some movement. I wouldn't be surprised. I know it's an offensive change, but defensively it can help out if you see the likes of a Richie Ballard come into play and bring one of the guys off up top, probably Spencer.
McCabe, and Loro parries it away. A stinging shot from the Irishman.
But until those changes come into play to allow the press to expose a bit more, Niall McCabe feels like he's got some work to do, pulling the trigger from about 30 yards out. Great save by Evan Loro. Nice full extension, pushing it to the side. It's a lot to ask of him from that distance. He did well.
You saw John Hackworth coming into the foreground in that shot. Our crew doing an outstanding job. Jimenez was met by Barlow, and it needed to be. Spencer was coming into the area with a lot of pace. Cutler helping it along. Referees says play on, or at least for the time being, no advantage seen. And a free kick for Lou City.
That's Marino's second one right in front of the referee. Had the late challenge early in the first half, and now this time getting stuck in. Don't expect him to be very long-winded anymore. Going to be on a short leash with the ref.
Jimenez, won by Del Piccolo. He was met by Barlow as well. Illich. Davis the fourth. It's too close to Loro. Loro had not a lot, but a couple of key saves against FC Cincinnati. Remember the one right in front of the Bailey. The kick save was right out of the top drawer.
And that's what Evan Loro can do for you. He hasn't been asked much of him over the course of this postseason, but he does have those glimpses where he can step up when need be. Again, opening two squads, Red Bull has really been able to do whatever they wanted to so far. Keep an eye with the referee. If things continue this way, you're going to see more cards start to fly.
Illich is on a card in Dom, as well as Andrew Tenari. As we'll get another look at the physical play. WWE.
Didn't realize we were giving piggyback rides.
Here's Jimenez. Tenari. Lima. Sliding it through for Stroud. It's tight work from Red Bulls 2. And finally dealt with by the Lou City back line. Well, if there are two things you can say about New York Red Bulls, just as a club on the whole, they're going to be extremely technical, and they're going to come at you with pace, and you've seen both of that tonight.
You see it at every level for them as well, all the way down through the academy system to the senior squad. And they have so much talent, just in general, all over the pitch. 6 players for Red Bull 2 have 6 or more goals. 5 of them are on the pitch right now. The only one not there, Brian White, who has gotten the opportunity to play with New York Red Bull.
Moreno furious with Remy Touchon.
He doesn't necessarily agree with the referee. You're going to get a much better look now. Moreno stepping up. It's a bit light. You're still going to call a foul, but
Moreno out of the infield and into open territory. Aguinaga. Good delivery in, and Ranjitsingh, what a save! Feline reflexes, Tom Barlow denied. Ensuing corner, Tenari on top of it. Stroud sitting right in front of Ranjitsingh. Here's the captain, Tenari. Aguinaga called off. Jimenez keeps it low. Illich got a piece of it. Ombi helping it along. Aguinaga around a couple of different Lou City defenders. Tenari, delivery blocked by Jimenez. Cutler, not his best delivery, falls for Jimenez. Tenari has become quite busy towards the byline, cuts it back, it's excellent work. And the shot scuffed, but it's more encouraging play from the visitors.
Interesting in the first half, a lot of movement on the left side, this time shifting over to the right. Andrew Tenari very active, trying to get involved with Armando Moreno. We've referenced so many times the technical capability of all these players. Good display by Tenari.
And it'll be Caceres coming on and replacing Aguinaga here in the 55th minute. Substitution brought to you by Great Clips. Caceres with 3 goals on the season, making his 26th appearance. Nice little 1-2 between Ombi and Illich, and Dom stepping forward. And Devin, anybody who's been watching the USL for the past couple of years knows better than to write this game off. I can almost say that it's a foregone conclusion. There are more goals left in this one.
More cards, too.
The winner on to the USL Cup final. Smith. Left-footed shot straight into the Coopers.
Davis would have served himself better if he brought his run to the outside. Instead, he stayed on the interior, almost closed down a bit of the space for Smith to cut in and hit it. Don't mind the look, but if he makes that run early, it enables him to have 2 options instead of just the one.
Caceres fouled. Goes quickly. Tenari turns out of trouble. Moreno. Oh, how on earth did he get that to Tenari? Tenari wiggles out of trouble. Stroud. Jimenez. Not a bad ball, but nobody was there for New York Red Bulls too. Jimenez breaks up the pass from Cutler. Now it's Brian Omi the other way. Is the counter on for Lou City, looking for a third? The answer is no for now.
This is turning into quite the heavyweight title fight. Red Bull 2 trying to find a way to get back in. You can see jabs coming from all over the pitch. Haven't really found their way through. Lou City just biding their time, waiting for that one counterattack to be that knockout uppercut punch.
Goals in last year's Eastern Conference Final. Here at Slugger, scored by Brian Omby and Junior Flemings. Flemings got his early in the second half as a response to Brian Omby's 11th minute opener. And then, of course, extra time. Saw no goals scored. And then Lou City came away victorious in pens. Richie Ballard scoring the game winner. Davis the fourth working on Jimenez. The veteran ran out of play.
George Davis the fourth knows it, a bit frustrated with himself, and rightfully so. Seen a lot of the technical ability on display by Red Bull 2 this time. George Davis the fourth getting in on the act, right to the byline, just couldn't release it early enough.
Look at Lou City drive forward the other way. Jimenez leading the charge. Out wide for Omby. First time delivery. Broken up by Ndam. Only as far as Illich. Jimenez gets it out from underneath his feet. But Red Bulls come away with it. Tenari in for Barlow. Could see Ndam just making sure that his footing was right when clearing that with Luke Spencer in the neighborhood. Just dinked over the top. Jimenez beat to it by Davis the fourth, and then it's Kyle Smith coming over in defensive support. Spencer trying to hold it up, and Dom, good defensive presence. Cutler will regain possession. Colgate University product, good header in, and it's Tom Barlow. The deficit cut in half by New York Red Bulls 2. And it's Tom Barlow yet again, the hero against Charleston. Makes it a 2-1 affair here at Slugger. Game on.
The makeshift outside back, Ethan Cutler, moving from the midfield. Just saw the ball played out on the challenge from Ndam. Just waiting for his striker up top to show him a bit of a window. Makes a great run to the near post. Saw it just moments ago. Ranjetsing able to come up with the first save. Second time around, the visitors get to within one.
Postseason and regular season, Tom Barlow, his 10th of the season. And Devin, he might make that look easy, but it's anything but. Running at the near post and then able to glance it at the near.
The level of difficulty on the save, on the first one by Ranjetsing, much higher on the Richter scale. Just your ability to crash the party on the near post and then not only get a deflection, but get enough pace behind it to beat the goalkeeper. First time around, Ranjetsing got it right, but this time had much more to deal with. There was a creeping run on the back post, didn't really know it was coming from. And Cutler just put it on a platter. Fantastic finish by Tom Barlow.
John Wolyniec beside himself. You mentioned Cutler on the assist, Devin. And when they drafted him, it wasn't about position because he was more of a striker or a winger. And he told us that they just simply drafted the quality that they saw in Cutler. They knew it was going to be a project if they tried him out at outside back. He has a terrific right foot. And like Jared Stroud, who's also from Colgate University and an Eric Roning product, they thought that it was probably going to be a year or two before they started making the contributions that they have. Cutler was offered a contract with New York Red Bulls, still playing with New York Red Bulls too, as Wolyniec continues to have a conversation with the fourth official. But both Stroud and Cutler, not coming from a big program by any stretch of the imagination in Colgate or the Patriot League, have been invaluable to this New York Red Bulls 2 side over the past 2 years for Cutler, and Stroud just in his rookie season.
You're starting to see that more over the broad scale of things. The landscape that is United States soccer has really started to drift. An opportunity this year to chat with quite a few college coaches, and they'll tell you that the playing pool has broadened. It's not 3, 4, 5 big name schools. It's no longer Indiana and North Carolina. You've got all of these programs who not only get quality players, but they're able to nurture and develop them to push them to the next level. And then credit to Red Bull for recognizing the talent and then giving them that extra jolt.
And it's going to be Speedy Williams coming on and replacing George Davis IV. We were told this substitute was going to happen before the Barlow goal. Substitution brought to you by Great Clips. It's going to be great. Devin, if you're John Hackworth, he obviously did it, but if you were in his shoes, would you have left the same substitute on after Barlow gets the goal?
It's difficult, isn't it? But almost assuredly, you'll see McCabe move to the outside now as Speedy comes in to occupy the space next to Del Piccolo. It's a hard one to answer because of...
Spencer takes it away from Ndam. Spencer towards the byline, and it's Ndam with a great recovery. Evan Loro certainly appreciative of the efforts from his big center back, but Luke Spencer has been a nuisance along that back line.
Exactly where I was going. It's hard to answer because of what this man can do for you. If you bring on Richie Ballard, with all due respect, he can give you a lot of pace and he will lay chase, but his ability to hold up play and challenge people in a one-on-one situation cannot compare to Luke Spencer.
You actually just saw Niall McCabe getting a little bit of instruction from John Hackworth at the bottom of your screen. As the header from Spencer, I don't know how that ends up over the bar. He was less than a yard and a half. McCabe back in. Now it's Lou City threatening after the Barlow goal for New York Red Bulls 2. Stroud helps it along. Tenari, boy, how shifty is he? Moreno, fouled by Paco Craig. And it's going to be Mustard for Craig. Shown a yellow here in the 65th. Get another look at that corner from Lou City.
He out jumps this ball. He gets up above it. I mean, he is above it. He's gone so high, he can only get his shoulder on it. Fantastic stuff from Luke Spencer and the shift that he has put in. Definitely not thinking that it was going to happen 10 minutes into the match with Lancaster going out injured, but he's done well.
It's a wasted set piece for Red Bulls 2 as Ndam gives it away. The pressure from Red Bulls still there, though. Caceres came on as the first substitute for John Wolyniec. Out of the reach of Tenari, cleared away by Suahi. And Dom and Spencer continue to go at it. You talk about a heavyweight matchup there. Of course, we should note Speedy Williams, who came on for John Hackworth, won the 2016 USL Cup with New York Red Bulls too, and has since enjoyed his time here in Louisville. Paulitz who's down. Grabbing out to that left ankle. 22-year-old from Morganville, New Jersey. Wake Forest product.
Naomi tries to go for the the turn here. It just gets out in front of him a bit and follows through as he tries to collect himself. Pollitt did a good job stepping up from that center back position. Again, you're regularly seeing Kevin Pollitt and Hassan Ndam, the two center backs for Red Bull 2, playing a very high line. It can get them into trouble, but it also gives them the ability to compress the field and counter. Transitional play, the key to success tonight. Red Bull trying to get back in it.
It's just dumped in. Barlow can't win it. And a goal kick for Gregoran Jetsing. A little more than 20 minutes remain. Louisville, as it stands, onto a second consecutive USL Cup final and second consecutive Eastern Conference Championship. If Louisville are to win the final, regardless of the winner of the Western Conference matchup, will run through Lynn Stadium at the University of Louisville. Suwahi gets out of trouble, but Devin, you're shaking your head.
You're Louisville, you're playing with fire in that situation. Push the ball down the field, let them reset their line. Red Bull is going to come at you with a lot of different options. You just saw it right now. There's no reason to put yourself behind the 8 ball like that.
Out of the reach of Omby, Cutler gets a foot to it, the foul against Omby. Devin sitting in here wagging his finger, as is the rest of the crowd here at Slugger Field. And Brian Omby's shown a yellow card, and Devin, you said it, a lot more cards to be shown.
They're coming, and they're coming with successive rapidity. This is a hard one for Brian Omby when he goes to get stuck in, because it's not a bad challenge. The referee's judging him by the way that his foot was positioned. If you go in there with your foot open, it's not an issue. When you come in, quote unquote, studs up like that, that's when the referee starts to get involved.
Over the top, cleared off the line by Suwahi. Ranjetsing mistimed it coming off of his line. It remains with the visitors. Caceres, wrong foot's McCabe. Caceres still with it. Taken down, but no call from Remy Touchon. Spencer brings it down, has Ndam beat for pace. Waiting for the cavalry to arrive. But it's Ndam who wins it and is fouled.
His first touch by Luke Spencer just before was silky smooth, and then he turns it over. Not the worst foul to give up. And Ndam, again, seen some, I'll say, Tony-worthy performances so far. Not necessarily at the Oscar level. No, not yet.
It's off the backside of Tenari. Cutler steps forward. Lima trying to win it back. Omby sees his touch go as far only as Ndam, who is on a yellow card. As is about half the players on the field right now. Jimenez, Tenari skips past 2 defenders, but he was offside.
Andrew Tenari has really grown into this game.
And how?
Quiet early on, one-on-one all night long, especially in the second half. You've seen him start to take over this midfield. Very difficult for Del Piccolo, Speedy Williams, Illich when he's stepping back to keep an eye on him. And that's what they give you. So many different looks for Red Bull 2. Louisville City need to do a better job solidifying themselves on the defensive side of the ball.
A lot of space for Louisville going the other way. Here's McCabe, closed down quickly by Ndam. He is deceptively fast, Hassan Ndam. And he's jawing a little bit with the Coopers.
The Cameroonian has got some kind of first step. He just gets out and goes. Top end speed, not the best, but he gets that extra little push just before McCabe can get down in. Good stuff by Ndam.
Well, all he really needs to do is get there so he can at least put a body or a hand on the opposing player, because at that point, it's over. It's just a strength match, and he's always going to win it. Our producer, Sharni Yerke, on point with the statistics. 6 yellow cards, 33 fouls committed in this game so far. And still a little less than 20 minutes remaining. Ombi. Tenari sees it taken away. Kyle Smith linking up with Paolo Del Piccolo. Now it's Niall McCabe. Great little ball through. Speedy Williams against the club that gave him his first USL Cup championship. Makes it a 2-goal lead yet again for Lou City. It's 3-1.
You can bet when John Hackworth made the change to bring Speedy Williams on and close down some play in the middle of the field, he did not expect his Jamaican to bury something in the back of the net or in that fashion. Speedy Williams, super clever, drifts to the back post and just waits for the ball to be put out in front of him. He hasn't found net on a regular basis, but what a time to get your second goal of the year.
Goal presented by Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education. Kentucky Lottery, his lone goal coming in a 3-0 win at Ottawa Fury way back in the dog days of July. Unexpected, to say the least. Speedy Williams, the third goal scorer for Lou City. How will the visitors respond down 2 goals yet again? Encouraging play from the home side yet again. The defending champions really flexing their muscles now. Ombi Williams, is there a second? Oh, what a hit! And it surely sends Lou City to the cup final now. Speedy Williams, do your thing, boy. 4-1.
Gonna have to talk to Speedy Williams. What's been going on? Change his diet? I mean, are you kidding me? 20 yards out, unleashes. The ball does not even move. This thing is hit with such velocity and conviction. Evan Laurel can do nothing about it. 2 goals, 2 minutes, icing on the cake. Louisville almost assuredly in the final.
Speedy Williams doubles his scoring production in a matter of minutes. The goal presented by Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education. Kentucky Lottery. What a turn of events. Illich. It's cut off by Cutler. Well, Devin, I posed that question to you right after the Speedy Williams substitution took place. whether or not Hackworth should have kept the substitution after Barlow scored the opening goal for the visitors. I think Speedy answered it for us.
He was more than happy to put that argument to rest. Speedy Williams, fantastic, and not necessarily known for his offensive prowess that we've seen tonight. I mean, we've seen him pull the trigger from distance, but for him, it's not even right place, right time. Just read the game very well. He's done such a good job stepping in and providing that spark on the offensive side of things. Louisville had gone a bit dormant in the second half. Red Bull making the most of their opportunities. They just couldn't close things out, getting into the final third, but not finding the back of the net. Thought that Barlow had really given them the chance once they got to within one, but Speedy Williams writing a whole new chapter in this great rivalry.
Even at 3-1 for Lou City, it didn't necessarily feel comfortable because it was starting to feel like the 3-3 game that they had played earlier in the year. And New York Red Bulls 2 with a furious comeback in the second half, but sometimes a moment of individual brilliance can take you a long way, and Speedy Williams providing just that for the champions. And he has helped them in more ways than one to have them an opportunity to compete for yet another USL Cup.
Definitely a tall task for Red Bull 2. John Wolenak going to have to pull a special rabbit out of the hat on this one, but they have shown that over the course of a match, they can come back 7 times this year. They've been able to bag 2 goals in the closing 10 minutes. They're looking for 3.
Long-range effort from Jimenez into the Coopers. And this was about a year ago. USL Cup chance in 2017 for the first time in club history. After falling short in the conference finals 2 years in a row, dating back to 2015 against Bob Lilly and the Rochester Rhinos. And then, of course, 2016 to New York Red Bulls 2. And of course, Louisville will join Swope Park as a side to reach back-to-back USL Cups. As Niall McCabe was issued a yellow card. And Louisville will be the 4th team to reach 2 USL Cups, following Orlando City in 2011 and 13, Harrisburg City Islanders in 11 and 14, and Swope Park Rangers, of course, in 16-17.
Don't forget, this is their 4th Eastern Conference final. You're looking at a dynasty in the making easily. And for the organization to have so many moving pieces and turnover in players to consistently rebuild, get the core components, and come out every single year and make their mark on a league is incredible.
Smith, Illich, here's Omby, it's blocked in front, Omby again, it's 5. They're running away with the Eastern Conference title and making a statement to the West, saying, bring it on, it's our trophy.
This game just got away from Red Bull 2, a defeated look by their manager. And this unselfish 1, 2, 3 touches right at the top of the box. Nobody willing to pull the trigger. In steps Brian Ownby. It's his 3rd goal in 2 games, 5 for Louisville, 4 Eastern Conference finals, but most importantly, they're looking for that 2nd championship.
Goal presented by Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education, Kentucky Lottery. Well, given the recent history in the Eastern Conference Finals, I don't think anybody could have predicted a 5-1 scoreline, and we still have a little more than 10 minutes remaining plus stoppage time. And we're getting word that Sean Tosha is going to come on and replace Niall McCabe, who, of course, was just shown a yellow card not too long ago. And Niall McCabe will come off to a warm round of applause, as he always does. It's the last time he'll step foot on Slugger Field in 2018. Because barring the comeback of all comebacks, USL Cup Final will be at Lynn Stadium on Thursday, November 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And the substitution brought to you by Great Clips. It's going to be great.
Niall McCabe did quite well for his squad tonight. Everything his manager wanted and more. Started at the 8 in the middle of the field next to Del Piccolo, tucked right underneath Illich, and then moving outside once the substitution by Speedy Williams was made. Good stuff right there with the Jamaican stepping in, but Niall McCabe just such a versatile component that has really done everything asked of him. And now just letting him get a break again on that yellow card. Wouldn't want anything to spill over and ruin his chances in the final. Ackworth makes the change there, up 4. This is, like you said, Tyler, not 100% over, but stranger things have happened.
Have they?
Oh, yeah.
7 minutes, 4 goals?
I tell you what, when I was 17 years old, and we'll get back to that.
Here's Jimenez interrupting Devin Kerr, right on point. Speedy Williams. Oh, what a ball for Illich. Ilya Illich still with it, and Loro punches it away. They're just putting on a show now.
He had trailing runners as well. Probably should have hit this first time, to be honest. A bit dramatic by Illich, but never shy in that situation. One-on-one again, and Red Bull continuously trying to find a way to get any sort of hope whatsoever. Wouldn't have ended up in the back of the net. Laurel just pushed it aside to be safe.
Jimenez gets all the way through, handball. Well, for New York Red Bulls too, this will be a very sour way to end 2018. But on the whole, knocking off the #1 seed and the Shield winners in FC Cincinnati, starting off the postseason by going down to Charleston and picking up a 1-0 win, and proving really that regular season, as long as you get into the postseason, anything can happen, because this is a side that really up until the month of September didn't have a road win. And they come away with 4. Early October.
Yep.
They come away with 4 road wins, including their wins against Charleston and Cincinnati in the most hostile environment in the USL.
And they beat the Riverhounds in the last game of the season at home, but still, you beat 3 of the top 4 teams.
It's unbelievable. And had this game gone to penalties and they had lost in penalties, it might feel a little bit better. But because the scoreline now reached 5 and could potentially be more, they'll feel like the season was a loss. But it's anything but that. This organization, the club as a whole, does such an excellent job. And Devin, I've said it to you, from top to bottom, if you start with New York Red Bulls at the MLS and then their affiliate with New York Red Bulls 2 here in the USL and even the Academy, the success that all 3 of those have had over the past 10 years, show me a different club that's had more success on the whole.
It's quite difficult to do, especially when you bring in the different tiers. When it comes from New York Red Bull 2, all of their academy squads consistently finding themselves in the topic of conversation at the national level. In talking with John Wolenak, he was quite proud of the vetting process that they do from an organization and pushing not just players, but coaches into these opportunities to help us squad out. He told us the game earlier this year, June 30th, they played Louisville. That was the 3-3 tie we talked about earlier. Felt like that was the catalyst and the springboard they needed. Was very proud of how they were able to come back and get a result there. Since then, they have gone 10-3-7. Goal differential has been double digits, astronomical play, and they've done it versus some big names in the Eastern Conference, and it just goes to show you the quality, not that they bring each and every season, organization-wide in its totality, fantastic, frustrating finish to the year, but they need to hold their heads high.
Barlow's delivery straight into Kyle Smith. Sean Tosh gets rid of it. Tenari looking to salvage some pride. It's a good effort. And here's tonight's Toyota move of the game. Let's go places. Not necessarily a soccer move per se, but some pretty good dance moves.
A lot of times we like to go after poking some fun here and there. Jimmy McLaughlin no longer has to say about the best dance moves, but I bet you Big Joey Farrell out in Phoenix has an idea of what he would do in a goal celebration. Speedy Williams doing a little bit of a Jamaican Mamba. Fantastic stuff from the midfielder since he stepped onto the pitch.
2 goals in 2 minutes for Speedy Williams after only scoring 1 during the regular season. 73rd and 75th minute strikes, and the first one really turned this game around for Lou City, because New York Rebels, too, more than a few times was threatening, and it looked like all the momentum that shifted to John Wolinek's side.
This game, this matchup, 22 goals in 3 matchups this year. That's nuts, insane. But remember, again, this game was 2-1 hitting the 73rd minute until Speedy Williams decided to force his hand on this match. Red Bull 2 had started to get back into this match. Andrew Tenari had basically taken over the entire center of the park. Louisville looking for answers. They found him in the likes of Speedy Williams and Brian Ownby.
Stauffer comes on and replaces Ethan Cutler. Substitution brought to you by Great Clips. Stauffer actually a Kentucky native from Owensboro and attended Creighton from 2014 to 2017. Now I'll ask you this, Devin. The final will be at Lynn Stadium at the University of Louisville on Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Louisville will await their opponent, which will be decided tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern between Orange County and Phoenix. There's no stoppage time to be had. As in Dom sends it away. Look at the watch from Ramey. Tuchon full time. Lou City back-to-back Eastern Conference titles, and they'll have a right to defend their throne in 2018. 5-1 is the final here at Slugger. Speedy Williams came on and made more than an impact. He made a statement. 2 goals in 2 minutes for the Jamaican, who only had 1 goal in the regular season. John Hackworth takes over for James O'Connor. Past the halfway mark of the 2018 campaign, steps into an unfamiliar situation, but brings Lou City and the Coopers and the rest of this terrific organization to a very familiar place, and a place where, quite frankly, they belong. The USL Cup Final, which will be played at Lynn Stadium, November 8th, ESPN2, 8 p.m. Eastern. It's another historic season for Lou City, regardless of the result on Thursday night, Devin. What do we make of it all?
With the acquisition of John Hackworth, fans, organization-wide, and critics were very quick to jump on his back about the formation changes, moving into this hybrid 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, going to the 4-back system. how do you like me now? Look at what he has done. He has done nothing but continuously push this team into the opportunity to have great success. Everything he has asked from his players, they have answered. They've got one more match to get done and show that they really want to be a dynasty in the USL. But tonight, the 90 minutes, fantastic performance, masterclass all around.
Well, Speedy Williams' teammates were trying to cool him off, but they still have one more game to go. Lou City, Eastern Conference champs for a second year in a row. We'll put a bow on it when we come back.
Graduating debt-free is the best feeling through the Metro College program. You would be a package handler, you would work nights, and you get your weekly paycheck, 100% paid tuition, and bonuses for JCTC and U of L. Less than a year after I graduated, I bought a house on my own because of all the benefits that I received and the freedom that I had from graduating debt-free. I want to help any student get that same opportunity.
Nothing says road trip like a Toyota Highlander. Let's go.
There is so much to see and do here in Kentucky.
And there's no better way to do it than in a new Toyota. They just keep making them better and better.
Toyota actually spends $1 million every hour of every day on R&D.
And the information they learn here is what makes Toyota Safety Sense so effective. Advanced safety as standard equipment. Gotta love that.
Toyota, driven here, loved here.
Toyota, let's go places.
Graduating debt-free is the best feeling through the Metro College program. You would be a package handler, you would work nights, and you get your weekly paycheck, 100% paid tuition, and bonuses for JCTC and U of L. Less than a year after I graduated, I bought a house on my own because of all the benefits that I received and the freedom that I had from graduating debt-free. I want to help any student get that same opportunity.
Scenes in Louisville once again. The boys in purple take down their arch nemesis in New York Red Bulls 2. 5-1. Speedy Williams with a brace. Brian Omby, Ilya Illich, and Luke Spencer. All the goal scorers on another historic night as the Eastern Conference trophy has made its way out onto the field here at Slugger. And who would have thought Speedy Williams coming in at the 73rd minute, and that's where all our cameras would be pointed. Kyle Smith heading over to the Coopers, paying respect to one of the better support groups in the United Soccer League. Just an incredible night for this organization, which had a lot of question marks in the middle of the season, but all of them put to bed by John Hackworth. And of course the triumvirate, who did an excellent job of filling in. But still one more game to go in the quest to defend the USL Cup. And now for a look back at a key shot presented by Family Allergy and Asthma. If allergies are making you miserable, allergy shots from Family Allergy and Asthma might do the trick. Visit FamilyAllergy.com. Devin, Luke Spencer, too many hops for his own good.
Where are you going, bro? Come on, man, you out-jumped the ball. I mean, give us all some credit here. We know you're good, but you don't need to be great. Just put the ball in the back of the net. It's good stuff from him up top, though. Much to be asked of him with the departure of Cameron Lancaster for what is most assuredly the final not going to be there. More questions to be asked of Luke Spencer, but at least tonight he was able to answer some.
They're going to enjoy their spoils tonight, Lou City. Speedy Williams with an absolute screamer. Cameron Lancaster already in street clothes. Certainly keep an eye on that in the days leading up to the USL Cup final, which will be at Lynn Stadium, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, ESPN2 on Thursday night. But Speedy Williams going down in Lou City folklore for sure. Now known as the most prolific goal scorer in all of Kentucky. Brian Omby getting his third of the playoffs. And Lou City will enjoy their successes just for the moment, and certainly tonight. A relatively quick turnaround, 6 days until the Cup final. Back-to-back Eastern Conference champs. So many of the same faces who were there a year ago, as well as some new ones. Definitely different circumstances. And at this point last year, we would have been deep into extra time, but a more than convincing performance from Lou City. Devin, wanted to ask you this question heading into stoppage time, but there was none.
Grilled cheese and tomato soup.
Other than what you're going to have for dinner tonight, who suits Lou City better in a matchup, Phoenix or Orange County?
It's a great question. If you want to see something like tonight, Phoenix is more similar to Red Bull 2. Orange County has been consistently the better squad. So it's difficult to say. Hackworth does a good job figuring out what areas they really want to attack. You saw it tonight. They came out early on, they pressed, really felt like they had a stranglehold on the game, but then all of a sudden, John Wolenak started to do his managerial duties and turn things around. You'll get the same out of both managers from Phoenix and Orange County. If Phoenix is at their best, they are the squad to beat. But can they put all of that together? That is the biggest question. Orange County has showed us Seaton, Enevoldson, Quinn, Chaplow. Chaplow's healthy now, so getting those guys going has not been that difficult. But can they get by Phoenix? And then can they take down Louisville? It's going to be a great final either way.
Club president Brad Estes leading the charge here at Slugger Field. Never really been a finish line for this Louisville squad.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a very warm welcome to the USL's Brett Louie.
There it is, Lou City, back-to-back beasts of the East. And Paolo Del Piccolo, rightfully so, hands it off to Niall McCabe, who made his 100th appearance, then Ilya Illich. Alexis Suwahi getting it on the fun, Sean Tosh. And how about the goal-scoring king of the United Soccer League, Cameron Lancaster? Not the night that he had dreamed of going to bed on November 1st, but helped them get to this point nonetheless. And Speedy, in typical Speedy fashion, just had to do it differently.
Up to the next level, huh? And you got to give credit to Speedy Williams. With his performance tonight, he can do whatever he wants. And something to keep an eye on with the run that they've had under John Hackworth since he stepped into the helm. Estes said it best. There were some concerns as to exactly what direction this team was headed. He's come in 11, 2, and 3. Those two losses, by the way, one, basically a fairy tale victory for Toronto 2 when they came in here and got that 4-1 drubbing onto the boys in purple. The other one, that weird touch-and-go game against FC Cincinnati in the rain, starting, stopping, the phantom ball that dropped in the puddle and ended up in the back post. But since then, 9 wins in a row, responded to adversity in every way, shape, and form, and they have put together some serious performances with multi-goal games, a stout back line. You're looking at a squad that's got 28 goals for, 5 goals against. That's plus 23 over the last 9 matches. Thank you very much.
And now you're looking at a side that has officially booked their ticket. Well, they don't really need to go anywhere. Just a few miles down the road to the University of Louisville at Lynn Stadium Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN2. Mike Watson, Devin Kerr will have the call. And you can bet that the boys in purple and the entire Louisville City fan base will be watching with great attentiveness as Phoenix and Orange County will square off as their potential opponents. New York Red Bulls 2, ousted from the postseason in 2018 with authority by Lou City. Their second consecutive Eastern Conference championship for our entire crew. Tyler Terrence, my broadcast partner Devin Kerr saying so long for now. Final score, Lou City 5, New York Red Bulls 2-1.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.